for the people that are just joining Launch and Learn for the first time, this is Launch and Learn. It is a platform in Futuresoft where team members share their knowledge with the team. But moving on, we thought that it was a good idea to share the knowledge to everyone across, and then we made it a public thing. So welcome everyone that's just joining us for the first time, or if you're going to be watching this video on YouTube. So today we'll be talking about how to attract, engage, convert, retain, and grow your target audience. So today's training's objective is to help us understand what target audience really mean, and then how to attract, engage them, and one of the method to and who our target audiences are. So our first attention would be on this quote that everyone is not your customer. So intentional businesses and people that are brands that know what they're doing understand this principle, that it is not possible to target everyone, and because that way it's going to be fruitless if you're trying to say, oh, these are the people, I'm targeting everybody, no one is out of my space. There are definitely people who are not interested in your product and services, and targeting them would be a waste of time. All right, so target audience, who are they? Target audience is basically referred to as strata, or a group, or a set of consumers that are most likely to want your product or services. So there are people who you need to know, understand before you start running different communication platforms or start engaging them in different areas. So why are they important? For the people that are just getting to know the term target audience, they are important because they determine the cash flow for your business, because target audience as a relevant, or see your brand as relevant to them compared to someone who is not targeted. You have to do more effort. You have to put in more effort or extra work to attract people that are not your target audience. And then you probably have to go out of your way if they are not part of your target audience. It reduces the cost. So in targeting specific people helps you to reduce the cost you're going to spend on ads, instead of just sending out ads to as many people as you can get. You already know the kind of people you're looking for, and you're very selective in choosing who I want here, who I want here, who I do not want them to see this thing. So it reduces your cost, and then it helps you to interact more because you already know the kind of people. Moving on, we're going to understand how you can know these people, but it helps you with interaction. You already know what they like, you already know who they are, you already know where they are. So it looks like you are one of them, and then interaction is a lot more easier. It's like being in a university and then you are interacting with a classmate or classmate, or in a company, and then you're interacting with someone in your space. It is easier to interact with someone in your sphere compared to someone out of your space. It would take you extra effort. When there is good interaction, there is more chances or more likely to convert. So converting target audience into paying customers helps you to boost your sales and then make more revenue. Leading convincing marketing campaign. That way, when you understand your target audience, it is easier for them to be convinced by what you're saying, because they know that they can see, or they know them, you know what you're talking about, especially if it's a campaign and you're talking to them. Be convinced by what you're saying. Brand loyalty from your customers. That way, customers can trust you because they know you, they like what they're saying, they enjoy the engagement they're getting from you. It is easier for them to refer you or say, oh, I trust this brand. They know what they're saying, they know what they're doing. And then that way you have their loyalty and their recommendation. So how to attract and engage target audience. The right people in your target audience is so important because who becomes a part of your business determines how it grows. If people that are not relevant in your space are in your space, they are either going to be taking up spaces and then you're going to be wasting a lot of resources on different things. But what determines if they stay is how you also intentionally engage them. So some of this target audience are not dormant. For some of us that already have them, they're not dormant, but because of the interaction, we probably do not engage them the way they're supposed to be engaged. So they look dormant. But having the right people in your space helps you to just to grow faster, to make your engagement is going to be different. Your say website is going to have different kind of traction, and it's not just going to be one person or two people viewing or something coming around, especially if you probably run a business online. It's not just going to be someone coming around, it's going to be people coming around checking you out because you are attracting the right people. So how do you attract the right person or the right audience? First thing to do is to define your business target audience. So for example, you're a food company. What is your definition of your target audience? Who are the people you are looking out for? Who are the people you are not looking out for? It is very important to know who you're not looking out for because it's a standard that you already know who does not look like your target audience. And when they come, you don't have to spend extra time trying to convince and convert them and so on and so forth. So for example, if your business target audience, let's say by age, you're targeting people within the age of 16 to 13, and then someone within the age of 65 is coming to check you out, and then they don't understand what you're trying to say. It is difficult for them because they are not within your space. You're not speaking their language. It is, except they understand you, it is going to be difficult or it's going to take a little more effort to convince people in that area. Conduct market research. So for example, if you're targeting, let's still use the age I was using earlier. If you're targeting between 16 and 30, and then your business actually need people between 35 and 70 to be your target audience. Conducting the market research will help you to know who are the people that you are supposed to target. Conducting market research will also help you to understand the people that are actively looking for your kind of business or your kind of product or your kind of services. So conducting market research helps you to be specific. This leads us to the next slide. It helps you to be specific. You can know the person you're looking for, where they go to research, who they talk to when they need answers, who they want to listen to. It helps you to be very, very direct, and you won't have to dance around different places before you know who is your target audience. Okay, so another thing to do when you're trying to attract and engage your target audience is to create relevant and useful content, something that they see as valuable. At first, they might not be paying customers, like you're just getting to know them, they're just getting to know you. It is important that you're saying something relevant and something useful to them. So for example, you're a food company and then you're trying to target youths 16 to 30, but you're giving them information that relates with someone who is 45 and how they can eat healthily and all of those things. It can be a bit more, okay, this is not what I'm looking for. How about you think about creative way to eat specific things, creative way to combine specific things. So sometimes youth want to just explore, and that's a character, or that's one of their attributes or standard, and then use that to create content for them. But earlier, and as I was saying, understand who they like to speak to, understand who they want. It is important because the moment you use those, you leverage on influencers to publicize your brand, it is easier for them to gain more tractions because they can trust the person it's coming in from. Influencers are people just trust. So whether it's digital marketing or traditional marketing, anyone that people naturally, and then they can believe their information concerning, it is good to leverage on them. So also look into influencers, leverage relevant hashtag on social media platforms. The use of hashtag is mostly to follow through, create a new trend. So if you're trying to create that, if you already have existing target audience that are really working out well for you, but leverage hashtags, it means that you have to look into your space, which leads us to the point to do more market research, know what people are looking out for, check out what they are watching, who they are at time. Using those hashtags puts you in the front end. Some of these hashtags. So understand for some reasons, if they want to fashion, one of the platforms I believe you should be looking at is TikTok. So, and you're targeting youth. TikTok has a lot of followers, and then they have a lot of people checking out things, checking out passion, creative ways to communicate who you are to them. So it would make more sense to be on TikTok, for example, rather than checking out other platforms. So for people that already have target audience in their space, they have a lot of people in their space, try to know your existing customers. So who are the people coming around? Those people can be a pointer to the kind of people you should be targeting or you should be trying to attract into your business. Okay, so moving on, let's also look into how to convert and retain your target audience. Attracting as retention of them is as good as meeting and greeting new people without the intention of relating who you are to them. For example, if you go to a party or a networking event or somewhere new that you do not know anyone there, and then you're meeting people, and then the only thing you're doing is hello, good morning, and that's it. Nobody is going to know you were there. Nobody is going to know if you've ever communicated who you are, what you do, how can they partner with you on different levels. Let them know. Some of the best ways to convert is, for example, when you create useful and relevant content in attracting your target audience, use call to actions. Use something they can do. It's not just an information that they're just getting to know. You can say you have more information on your website. Let's say you're targeting them from social media to your website. You can say you have more information on your website that they can check out. You can say you have something that they would need, they should check you out. It would be as simple as sharing your content to more people that they would need it. And then it keeps going on and on like a ripple effect. It is call to action. Another thing to consider is to optimize your audience web experience. So for example, if your brand have a website which is intentional, a website, optimizing your web experience is, if it must be for them when they come on your website to navigate your website. It would be really it would be a bad experience. It would be very when next to click or what next to do. Optimizing your audience web experience is really a good way. That way, it is easier for them to, if it's easier for them to spot a share option or a copy this link, share with your friend option, it is easier to publicize you or to gain customer loyalty that way, because they can influence other people to also check you out. But when they're having tough time trying to understand, looks like it will really discourage them without any intention of coming back. So maximize social media platforms too. As much as you have your website, you should also be on relevant social media for your brand. Your brand is for something creative, something different, you should definitely know that Instagram and say TikTok is a place for you. But if you're looking at educating, so another thing to look into is to give discounts and free offers while trying to convert target audience, letting them taste what you, more like taste and see kind of option where they can say, okay, let me give it a try. Let's see how this works. So if we give them a discount and then a free offer, and then they find that, oh, this is really nice. Oh, I'm using products from this so-called brand, and then it is really amazing. You can check us and more of the checkout, but you have to pay. And then they say it's not a problem. They already tasted what you have to offer, and they find it interesting, large enough of people to respond to them one-on-one. So it makes a lot of sense if you can automate some of your processes and make it easier for your customers to engage with you. So let's say maybe the person feels like, oh, I'm free at midnight, and the person is registering midnight, and then you are trying to have a one-on-one conversation with them and you respond the next morning. It is too far. That's a lot of time, and in those spaces your competitors might have used that time, if they are using automated methods, to just reach out to them, and then they think, oh, these people are very serious, they are responding to me, and customer care must be really good, and so on and so forth. But using any automated process, you'll probably be losing customers, because when they reach out to you, how else are you going to engage with them if you're not responding to them immediately, even if it's to tell them that we'll reach out to you at so time? So for example, even the common WhatsApp that is a one-on-one conversation response, when someone reach out to you and tell them, oh, we thank you for reaching out to us, but we will do this and this at this also time. For people that are not very tech conscious, they see it as okay, these people really have me in mind, so I'll probably wait to that time till they respond to me, and then they keep you in their mind that, oh, at this specific time this person is going to respond to me, or this brand is going to respond to me, or this business. So that way it keeps you more research to sustain. So research is something that is consistent when we're talking about target audience, because target audience also grow. So what you use to attract them and you're using to engage them does not necessarily mean it's the same thing you would use to convert them or retain them. They might just find it interesting to you. Converting them has to take a whole lot of intentional processes. So do more research to know what works and what works for them. So get personal when they are converted. Although I said it is good to have automated, but it is also nice that when they are converted and you can see that they're very intentional, they're asking about specific products and services, it is good to reach out to them on a personal note and let them relate to you what they really want or what they really expect from you. That way it is easier to satisfy them or to create a customized version of your product for specific people. So getting to know them personally, or getting to relate with them personally, so your target audience, make it easy for them to relate with you. So this for me would be a comparison between traditional style of marketing or relating with people and the digital style of marketing to people. Brands are generally known to people as untouchable or unrelatable. You can't touch them, or you can't talk to them. So those kind of brands just talk at people, and then people just notice them and then see them and like, okay, that's fine, and then leave. But make it easy for them to relate with you if you can make your brand. So for example, maybe you know that at the time you're putting your product out, not everybody are interested in what you said. Everybody might be able to afford your product, but if you can make it to relate with you, what do you think about this? A creative way to engage them is something that should be looked into, and then research will help you to know what they really like to hear, so you can create content around that space to relate with. It is easier for them to relate with you. So moving on, we would understand, this is where we understand how to grow our target audience. So at some point in your business, it might seem like you've reached a plateau and I'm wondering if you're growing or not. The law of diminishing return is normal, but here there are some tips here that will help you scale. The reason why I use law of diminishing return is that at some point you might really be growing because of what you've done, while attracting and engaging them and then converting them. It might really look like a great thing to do, and then you're moving faster, you are progressive, in short. And then at some point you just find out that the same customers you have 4 months ago are the same customers you have now, depending on your business. Let's say in a longer period, say 2 years, the same customers you have 2 years ago are the same customers you see have right now. It is good. It will be interesting if you can reach more people. Except your brand is is specifically for specific people. You maintain that standard, which is the first point, which is maintain that you can get more from different spaces. It might be a little, but you can get more from different spaces. You should target more. You should reach out more to different spaces to grow your audience. So maintain your for example, if you are an information brand, maintain the standard in the kind of information you're giving out. Because you know your target audience, give out something less than what attracted them. They might be discouraged and then maintain that standard. And while you are at it, ask for referrals. Ask them to talk about you with their friends. Ask them what their friends are saying about the brand, or reach out to more audience and do a research that, okay, or a case study. Okay, what do you think about this brand? What comes to your mind when you hear this kind of brand? Have you heard this kind of brand? What would you want to know about this kind of brand? And a lot of things. So pivot into other segment of target market. So here I would, because I've not mentioned target market since, I would want to explain what a target market is and how it's different from target audience. So target market is like a bigger scope of your target audience. I would use this in I don't know if everybody understands a mathematical set. There's a universal set that every set can find themselves in the universal set. A simpler way to try to cast your net, get fishes, and then at the end of the day, you are sorting out the kind of fish you want to sell. Target market is a larger group. It's your product services, but your target audience at a specific moment. So you can pivot into other segments. So for example, the age instance I've been using, the 16 to 30. Let's say you have a product, and from research, you found out that from age 31 to 40, they are interested in this product. And from the people that have been buying and asking you about your product into that, and then try to launch, make your marketing strategy fall into that age bracket and see what you would get. So pivoting at market to your brand. So pivot into other segment of the target market is another brilliant idea to get more people or to grow your target audience. Repeat the process used from attraction to retention. So of course, if you target a new market, you have to engage them, you have to convert them, you have to retain them, and then you relaunch again. And then be human. Don't sound automated, and let behind the devices, the computer, the phones that really have their interest at heart. So it shows the human side of your brand. So I'm looking deeper into how to find your target audience. This is a section where you understand how, who and how to target who your target audience, rather, who your target audience are and how to target them. So there are different ways to find yes, you can use the archetypes, you can use persona to understanding their persona, analyze to know, oh, okay, who are the people archetypes, like we said earlier. Then you can use many things from yours. But one of the is to understand brand archetype and the brand archetype that exists and which one describes you and your target audience the most. So let's talk about brand archetypes. So as familiar, how just target market without the bias of age, place, culture, gender, and so okay. So for me, I would say captures from one area to another area. It helps you to target different spaces, but using kind of structure to check out for who your target audience can be. It is a way of humanizing your brand. You engage with your target audience. So who do you want to be perceived as? What emotion do you want to erupt in your target audience when you're telling your story? Those are the things that brand archetype helps you to flesh out. So let's check out the different type of. So there are 12 type of brand archetypes, and they are listed here, and we will check them one after the other on. So let's get to know them. The first archetype are the people in the segment of the innocent. The brand archetype loves and values pure happiness, simplicity, they are very positive. Into this kind of brand is very easy because they are just open-hearted. They just want to see things the way they are. So, for example, if you are a brand that you make things, then you know this within your work process is a good way to attract this kind of people. Telling them, oh, this is made this the end product, and some of the videos that are on how it started, how it's going, and the end result. So the innocent are free of corruption. They are basically more like children. In people in that archetype just love to be positive and simple, and then so their work brings harmony to life and those around them. So if your brand is within this category, you don't have to sweat to be a complex brand or try to or big impress your audience. No, you just have to express yourself and you would fit well into the market. Attracting an innocent brand archetype just requires you to be yourself, to be true to yourself. What do you do? This is how you do it. And when the sincerity of your brand, you would have along that line been attracted to your brand, so you have more and converted into paying customers. The hero, this is a brand that likes to focus on coming to the rescue of their audience or encouraging them to do things. As a hero brand, most of the time people look out for this kind of brand to tell them things. So they try to make marks as they say. So last year they ran a campaign on just, and then it really made a lot of sense to different people because that it is not just about what you already have, as you are afraid. If you must do it, just was encouraging to a lot of people. So Euro brand leave their print in the sun, and they often achieve most of their plans at a great cost. But they determine, but they are the end of also that are also result oriented, and they love to see they love to be inspired. They always attract each other. So sometimes different brand might want to fit into this category, but not all brand fit into this category. Check if we go and check which of these brand archetype speaks more to personally. The explorer is also another brand archetype. The brand archetype leads for adventure, like I said earlier, for everyone that didn't get that. So they just want to try different things. They want to know, does this work? Can this work? Let's try this out. And then all these are part of what makes them who they are. They explore, and they're actively informed about the things that are happening around them. So coming to a brand, they already have everything figured out. They already have what they want figured out. It probably might not make sense, but you just want to explore that option. Next slide, please. Thank you. So we have the outlaw. This brand archetype is similar to an explorer, but the major difference is that they use their exposure as a tool to break free from a traditional way of doing things. So an outlaw wants to do things differently, wants to prove that what is in existence is not as good as what can be. So brands around these areas are more like the NGOs or people that fight. That's like the literal people that are in this area. They thrive on what other people would call rebellion, but they're not trying to rebel. They're just trying to communicate that there is more to be achieved. There is more that can be done. There are better ways to do these things. We can explore other options from the things we've known and the things we've heard from ancient times. So an example of this kind of brand would be the Robin Hood story, which says that so they just want to prove that there are more ways to do these things. There are better ways to do these things that would not affect some people. That's for Robin Hood, but in this kind of case, they're just people that want a revolution or something different. So when it comes to businesses, some businesses thrive around this kind of people. So if you're an explorer and then you're doing this to just know some things, an outlaw wants to do things based on what they know and how they can use it to make things better. So for people that are used to the system, they most likely count them as rebellious people, but they're not being rebellious. They're just trying to show their personality. They're trying to express their personality. So brand around this area should look into how to attract them. They would relate more with you because you're speaking their language. Next slide, please. The next archetype we'll be talking about are the creator. If you've ever seen a brand focusing its attention on being imaginative, being authentic, thinking out of the box, with a combination of experimenting and testing, bringing different things to life, this is the archetype of a creator that just want to do different things and see how it works. And if it doesn't, we can find other ways, other creative ways to do this. I feel like all brands should fit into this category because it makes a lot of sense. It might be risky, but it makes a lot of sense because you can test different things and then measure and then see what works and what will not work and what worked at a particular time that would not work in another time. So
They're mostly called creative, and they find fulfillment in bringing different things together to form one thing. So in the world we're in, creative thinking is very, 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 very important. So it is also important to work in this space and bring things to life, speak to this kind of archetype. Of course, not everybody wants to take the risk of thinking out of the box or taking risk, but it is necessary for brands to naturally have that as part of their culture. And then attracting people that are creatives too would be easier if you're in that space. Okay, so the next brand archetype would be a ruler. The ruler. Unlike the outlaw archetype, the ruler interaction with customers and the environment is to bring order. So the outlaw just want to shake things and then make sure everything old go into extinct, and then bringing fresh and new ideas to the table. But for the ruler, they are different. They encourage people to be the best of themselves, and they also encourage themselves to be the best of their industry. So they bring order into the system. They maintain their standards. They have high standards, and their priority are like channeled by high standard, desire for security and safety. So, and a good example would be the Mercedes-Benz. They have very high standard and they are mostly quiet. They don't want to be all out there. They just want to be within their space, bringing order and then bringing their skill into humanity and how they can make things better, make things more sleek, they can be very creative with their ideas, but whatever creativity they're choosing, they are very, very particular about being a perfectionist. So they want to make sure that it is coming out the precise way they have envisioned it. So customers or target audience within that space also see, okay, yes, these people are excellent at what they do. So as a ruler, they maintain that their high standard, and then they bring order to whatever they're doing. They can try out differently, they can be creative, but it must come out the way they have envisioned it. They prevent crisis and take control of situations. So this is not specific to any brand, but this the people in this situation are some of the people that go against, say, the rebellion in quote of the outlaws, and tell them, okay, just because we want something new to come into existence does not mean we would just dismiss the old. And then they bring that order that welcomes in the new thing, or still maintain the order that is necessary for the market. Another archetype would be the caregiver. So just as their name implies, they provide care to the people that need it. They are called real because they can connect emotionally to their customers and provide the precise solution needed by their customers. This is another brand archetype that I believe every brand can adopt, because every brand or every business is relating with human, and it is not it is human beings are very emotional. So a caregiver brand should always find a way to connect with their target audience emotionally. So people that run private hospitals, for example, or pharmacists, health workers in general fit into this category because they're not shy of telling the truth and always desire to shed the light on the problem of the world. But at the same time, they also prefer solutions. So they don't just tell you, perfect example, in an hospital, they don't just tell you you have this and that, and then they don't tell you the remedy for the things you're having. No, they would want to give you a solution to that. So that's another thing when I said I think every brand should have that running an analysis through the needs of a client does not mean you should tell them that, oh, this is the things you're not getting right. This is the things you probably need, and not say, okay, we offer these things. Let us do this for you. Let us take care of this for you. So the caregiver always look after the interest of their customers too. Another brand archetype is the magician. So when it comes to when you come across this kind of brand, you'll see that the desire is to make dreams come true. A perfect example of this kind of brand would be Disney. So the Disney movies, most Disney movie talks about a movement of you can do it, or dreams come true, the princess dream, or all those things. So apart from them speaking emotionally to the people, which of course makes a lot of people look out for them, children look out for them. So of course, if children look out for them, their parents are motivated to buy some of their product, or watch their movies, or subscribe to some of their channels, because they want their children to not disturb them, which is a ripple effect. So parents, in short, would be children are their target audience, but parents are the ones paying. But their goal is to make their customers feel like all their dreams can come true. Except you are a magician, this brand archetype is not something all brands should adopt, because you cannot satisfy the needs or the wants of everyone. But this is something important. It's mostly contains something special and informative. Their expertise make sure that the things that are far-fetched are brought closer. So an example, a perfect example of the magician brand would be the social media platforms as a marketing tool. Normally, people just watch advertisement on TV and billboards, and then you see it in big places, and then the money is huge. But now everything has been broken down into little things that people can afford. There are things that are far-fetched. Not all businesses can do and run an advert, but right now almost every business can run. So it is social media platforms are examples of the magician archetypes, and then people love this kind of brand because their dream of, oh, one day I'll run an advert on a billboard has come to pass, because everybody holding a phone can see their advert. So running an advert is by magic. Everyone can do it now. So they're charismatic, they see things from a different perspective, they're influential, and they believe in the mantra dream big. So they just want you to understand that the things you see are possible. The things you want to see alive can be possible if you do this, and this. So transformation is their goal, and their strongest point is in foresight. They can see beyond, and seeing beyond is not just something vague. They have strategies that lead to this thing. So techno companies are a good example of this kind of archetype, because they are bringing things that are very far away to something you can touch, and to something you can hold. So moving on, another brand we have is the Lover. This brand looks forward to building community and improve relationship. So there are different names they call them. They call them sensualist, partners, friend, romantic, enthusiastic, but they have passion and enjoy making others feel special. They evoke emotions and are committed to their customers. So most of the time, this kind of brand seeks the attention of their customers. So they are the people, if they were in real life scenarios, they would probably call them people pleasers. But this is how their business can thrive. a business built along this line looks forward to make sure that the height of the dream of their customers comes true. So unlike brands that want to maintain their high standard and would not want to come down, or trying to, like the ruler, would not want to probably pivot. It takes extra research for rulers to pivot. They pivot based on a calculated risk. This kind of people are very fluid. They are flexible. They just want to speak to their people, to their audience, that we see you, we understand you. They speak intimacy and make people more attractive in their space. So perfect example would be makeup brands. Different clothing brand can fit into this category. The people that make clothes for youth, anything around sensuality or anything around being romantic sells with this brand archetype. Moving on, another brand archetype we have is the jester. So you would, I'm guessing you would have seen a clip of Mr. Bean or the Tom and Jerry series. Now these are the exact brand, like that's exactly what a jester brand looks like. They are not the regular everyday brand you see around, but they are so relatable when you bump into them. They can be goofy, but they have a good sense of understanding. They can relate with people more. They can bring very weird scenarios into the display, and then it relieves people of their pressure or takes stress away from people. So no matter how bad the situation can be, they show up to their customers with a light heart and a welcoming spirit. So comedians as human brands can fit into this category. So if your brand is not entirely around this space, it would be a mess to try to attract people using the jester brand archetype, because you might be the serious brand archetype that just need to communicate in a very intentional way to your clients or to your brand. And then adding jokes into your brand might be can be a turn off for your target audience, and then they look for people that are more serious. So it is not something that is advisable, or it is not a brand archetype that people or every brand should adopt. Quickly to the sage. Yes, this brand archetype, knowledge and truth is their mantra. Like they thrive with just knowledge. Customer-based knowledge per client is what they display. So if you come to them and you need information, more like consultancy, people in the consulting industry thrive well with this archetype because they're highly knowledgeable and they're actively seeking for more. The research and development department of companies fall also into this category. So they always want to get more information so that when people have issues or they want a quick fix or a long-term strategy, they can be there for them, putting them through. So if you are an educational brand, yes, you fit well into this brand archetype. And then lastly, we have the everyman. So the everyman, this kind of brand has an affinity towards the family lifestyle and the everyday basic needs. So nothing extraordinary. They're not trying to be a magician, bringing something that is not in existence into existence. They are not trying to find, no, they're just welcoming, they're likable, they're relatable, their product and services most of the time has a lot of people in demand of it, which makes it a brand with large audience. They have a large audience. So if you're someone who works, or if you're a business working around the basic needs of every man, you are attracting, or you are working with this brand archetype, the everyman, And then you would be attracting a lot of people because it is every man wants it. So brands that fall into this category are majorly providing for needs, basic needs like shelter, food, clothes, basic necessity, transport, anything that makes life easy or make life just the basic things that everyone can fit into. Yes, brand archetypes, this brand archetype fits into it. So like we previously established, not all brand archetypes can do the work of the other. It is important that you understand that this brand archetype, you can find them in different spaces too, but you can't combine everything. Of course, you can combine different kind of brand archetype, but for example, you can't combine the everyman with a ruler. A ruler has high standards. Every man just wants to satisfy the basic needs of their clients. The basic needs, water, pure water companies fit into this category. Bakeries fit into this category. But if you're a car company, not everybody would want to get a car. So you probably will not be speaking the everyman's language. So you will not be attracting people along that area. Moving on, we would learn how brand archetypes helps your business. So brand archetype helps your business, helps you to humanize your business. So this is like the number one goal of understanding your brand archetype and understanding that you attract people within your space that looks exactly like you or that speaks the same language like you. They humanize your business. They make it easier for you to attract them. You can communicate well. You can interact well with them. You can connect with them, and then you can retain with them. If you can speak the language fluently, you can grow your audience. And the moment you grow your audience, not just the target audience, not just not just the target audience would increase, it would also help your business. So the more people you reach, the more likelihood for you to convert some of these people into paying customers. And the more they pay, the more your business grows. So it also works as a bridge that helps you increase the chances of meeting the right audience and produce better results for your business. So you won't have to target a lot of like different people, casting your net wide and catching different things that you eventually might not be needing, or having different people in your space that you might not be needing. So it also helps you to stay ahead of competition. You get to analyze and target audience that they could not reach. So if you can maximize your brand archetype well, you would be able to reach a lot of people that your competitors are not probably thinking at, because it captures a whole lot of things. Someone, for example, in a sage brand archetype, a child can be a sage, and you've targeted that child. A child, when I say child, maybe a teenager, can be a sage who just loves information and then wants to check different things. So if you capture someone within a sage within the teenage category, a sage in the youth category, a sage as an elderly person, you are targeting a lot of people across different age groups. So it is a bridge, and it helps you to stay ahead. Some of your competitors might just be targeting just age ranges, but you are targeting with specifics, and then with something deeper than just age. Then it helps you to gain customer loyalty because they feel like a part of your brand. They are compelled to make you known, because it's like meeting someone that speaks your language in a foreign land. And then the person has access to other people in that land. It is easier for them to say, oh, come and see this person speaking our language. Oh, I can refer you to my friends. I can refer you to the people I know. So it decreases word of mouth advertisement, where you don't have to pay too much for people to know you. It is just something that has a ripple effect on your brand. Referrals and organic growth for your business is possible because you understand your brand archetype. And that way you've learned how to attract them and engage, retain, grow your target audience. That would be all for today. I'm sorry to take our time. We would be giving room for questions. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
If you have questions, you can just unmute yourself and ask your question.
I have a question.
All right, ma'am.
I see that there's a lot of process involved in some of the things you spoke about, especially when you talk about carrying out a market survey. And that in itself, everybody knows what a market survey is. However, that's quite involving because one is, I was hoping that I'll see maybe, or I'll hear, or of course we can always Google it, but it's always good to let us know which areas to focus on when you're doing a market survey. And of course, I see that we all do very, very different types of businesses. And of course, one cap cannot fit all, you see, because let me speak for myself particularly. The things that I sell, especially in this economic climate, are not things that people would go for first. They're not top luxury. However, they're also not essential items. So my question would be directly, so where am I going to focus on? The people who can afford them do source their things directly either by traveling. When they travel, they pick up those things themselves, or they go to highbrow boutiques or shops and get the same things for maybe 3 times the price. So I'm a bit confused, especially with regards to the market survey bit, which is the
Okay, so
thing,
Okay, so I didn't get the question. So you're asking what the focus of a market survey should be, right?
Not only the focus, how wide, where would you say, okay, I've gotten enough to give me the answers and the signals to now develop my strategy, my marketing strategy? At what point will you say, okay, I've done enough, I have enough coverage, kind of thing?
Okay, so to be very clear, you're asking at what point is the people you're targeting enough for you to build a strategy around them, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I would say that building or getting a lot of people is a continuous, or getting target audience is a continuous process, because we can't just camp around a particular set of people and say we want to grow. Sooner or later, we would have to grow. So for me, the answer to your question would be to do carry out research on existing customers, the people you have in your target audience at the moment. What are the things they are looking out for? What are the things they want? What are the things they see fit from your business to them? What are the things that they count as an advantage from you to them? And then you can build around that for the moment and then see how that works. Then moving on, you can find out other information about them that can help your business to grow. If any other person has answers, please, you can keep in so that we all learn.
Yeah, I'll also chip in here. I also think that you have to differentiate your customer base from your target audience, right? So your customer base are people who are buying from you already, and then the target audience is the larger audience that could potentially buy from you, right? So the question is, where are you going to find these people? How do you reach these people? If these people are buying from other vendors and boutiques that are 3 times more expensive, why wouldn't they buy from you, right? Is it that they don't know about you? Is it that you haven't positioned your products or services where they can see them, right? So it's really, when you're doing your audit, right, you have to look at what is my current, sort of reach, and how am I reaching people? What are the channels that they are on? Am I using the right type of channels? Am I positioning properly? Am I sending the right type of message? What are my competitors doing, right? So the people who are selling 3 times at a 3 times higher, right? What are they doing to attract these people into their stores or into their online stores, right? That you're not doing. So I think it's really about looking at, and sort of looking at what value, like Agnes said, what value can you add to potential customers, right? When you focus too much on your existing customers, you sort of get lost, right? So you need to figure out who are people who are most likely to buy these type of products that I have, right? And they may be a little bit different from the current consumers or customers that you have, right? It might be a wider net that you can actually cast, but you're maybe not speaking to that target audience properly, right? So I think that's one of the things that you need to consider. And then also, how are you engaging with them? And I think that's where the brand archetypes really become important, where you choose what kind of brand archetype you, or multiple, you can have a combination of brand archetypes that you want your brand to sort of represent.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense, but still a lot of questions coming out of that.
All right, let's ask if other people have more questions, and then if there are none, you can ask your question. Is there another person with question?
I have question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Agnes, for that elaborate discussion. So, it kind of like to come to end the brand type, it's gave me more insight into brand that I don't do.
Sorry, we can't hear you clearly.
Oh, okay, can you hear me better? Is it better?
Yeah.
Hello?
Okay, yeah, it's better now.
Okay, thank you very much. So my question is basically, you mentioned a lot of things about how to attract and engage your target audience. And
Okay.
there are a lot of processes involved in that. But my question is basically, you mentioned about converting them, and you mentioned some other things around that. So you have your target audience, you've already created awareness, you activated, you try to engage them and all. But it's more like when they use your service once, and after that, it seems like that's all. That you don't have them returning back to patronize you. Then you have this segment of customers that they just come as probably just say hi to you, and then converting them to revenue is like a big deal. So in that kind of scenario, you tried every possible means of trying to attract them. I mean, trying to convert them, but it seems not working. So in this kind of situation scenario, what are the things that you can likely do to probably better understand them, and then to be able to convert them into revenue at the end of the day?
Oh, okay. If I hear you correctly, you are asking why are one-time buyers not coming back, and how can you convert target audience into paying customers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it depends. Okay, I would start with why buying customer, the one that bought, are not coming back. It depends on I believe that it depends on what they need the product for in the first instance. Is this something they would repeatedly want? Is this something that they would always want, or is it are you into a business that it's a one-time thing, or is something that people rarely use? So I feel like one of the reasons why that question needs to be answered is because not everybody needs specific things every time. So for example, you're selling suits or office wears. The moment someone stocks their wardrobe, sometimes they don't have to repeat that same process till maybe 4 months time. And then what if the customers you're having buys January, for example, and then by May, that's when they are coming back? What would you do between February, March, and April? So it should be a question of, is this something they would always want? That would make them, that would be a question that would answer why are they not coming back? And if it's to reach out to more, I think the more, I believe you should attract more and then see if they can be converted. And the people that are coming to say, oh, hello, we see that you're doing this and that, it is interesting, we like what you're doing. Are they within the paying customer scope? Which means that, can those people asking about you afford what you're selling or what you're offering? If they cannot, for example, if a teenager is still in secondary school in this Nigeria economy is asking about a Benz product.
Sorry, Agnes. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, I want to try and kind of help you with the question. So what my brand does is we offer healthcare services, more like connecting patients to doctors. And it's not just a one-time thing, you get. So probably that will help you in answering the question.
Well, so I feel like the same person who got treatment for a particular illness might not come back to be treated on that same sickness for a long time. So it makes a lot of sense that some of these people are not coming back, except they are on a checkup schedule, which is the reason why they would most likely come back. So, and then, for example, you're a caregiver, you would not always pray that people fall sick. But there are other people that are within, that need health care. How are you reaching out to all those other people? So healthcare is sometimes a one-time thing. I said people just do checkups, and that's why they keep coming back to say, okay, I just want to check myself on this thing. So how do you target them to keep coming back for checkups? How do you target the people that have not heard about you, but they need healthcare? What payment plan can you create for people that cannot afford your service at the moment, but they desperately need healthcare? So these are some of the things that you can put into consideration that would bring some of your paying customer back. That's for checkups, or the people that are asking about you, how you can convert them into paying customers is to, okay, are there people that can pay first? And if there are people that cannot afford us, how can we make some of our services affordable to them? Was your question answered, Ms. Taiwo?
Yeah, he was. Thank you.
It's such a great time and a privilege to be with you. Thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate that. In case you have more questions, please feel free to send us an email or reach out to us on our social media platforms. Send messages, send us a DM. Would definitely attend to you. Thank you all for coming. Have a nice day.